All right, man, it's the best time of the year. We got series predictions, we've got playoff game reactions happening soon. Let's get into the Cavs and the Knicks, which I think has a very strong chance of being the best round one series. Of course, there's the Donovan Mitchell, Knicks could have traded for him, didn't storyline. There's the fact that the Cavs finished first in defensive rating for the regular season. Of course, when you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that's going to happen. The Knicks finished with the fourth best offensive rating in the regular season, off the back of Brunson and Randall's shot making, Emmanuel quickly constantly getting better, and this team has just been really, really good, especially ever since the Josh Hart trade. And I think that's where I want to start, the Cavs guarding the Knicks. So, of course, the Knicks need Julius Randle. He had an ankle sprain, I want to say a couple weeks ago now. I feel like he's going to be there for game one. The timeline pretty much lines up for that. Obi Toppin has been playing a lot of minutes lately without Randle playing, and he's been doing well. I'll get to him in a second, but let's just assume Randle is going to be playing for a minute here. Looking at some of their regular season stuff, there were possessions where Jared Allen was guarding Randle, but my gut feeling is that Mobley is going to start on Randle. I could be wrong there. I think Mobley is going to do a better job than most guys at guarding Randle one-on-one. Randle does have a weight advantage there, and of course Randle can have these moments where he's just making insane fadeaways and you're just like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? But again, Mobley's great. The thing I'm wondering though is how much help defense is Mobley or Jared Allen going to be able to play when they're on Randle, right? Because with the Cavs, such a big reason why their defense is as great as it is because you could just have the two huge dudes protecting the basket. Well, you can't really just leave Julius Randle, you know what I mean? I mean, if you're going to have help where, let's say, Brunson's getting into the middle of the lane, because of course Brunson lives around, especially like the free throw line, maybe like a foot inside the paint where you can get to those like fadeaways and all that. And I will dive into like Brunson more, but real quick, like if Okoro is healthy, then he's going to be guarding Brunson, I assume. But, if Brunson's able to get to the middle there, then you need Mobley, let's say, who's guarding Randle to help. Well, I mean, again, Randle, he's a good shooter and all that. So then it's a matter of, well, can you have other guys closing out to Randle, who Mobley, or if you want to do Allen the other way around, has now left open. I mean, Cleveland's done a good job at that stuff. Like Zach Lowe has talked a lot this year about how like Mitchell and Garland and LeVert and Okoro have fought really well, like around screens and just doing their jobs basically around Mobley and Allen. Now, if Randle is going to miss a game or something because of the ankle injury, and it's got to be Obi who's getting more of those minutes because he has been lately. I mean, Obi can cut. He's got potential for offensive rebounds, even if his rebounding in the NBA has not been what it was in college. And his threes have been good lately. So in theory, he's the type of guy who you wouldn't be able to completely leave open if you're Cleveland. With that being said, I still think Cleveland would dare Obi pretty hard to be like, okay, prove it first. We think about Jalen Brunson. I mentioned it. Okoro, he's also had an injury, and we'll see if they can have him. In the last game they played, which was like a couple weeks ago, they had Lamar Stevens on Jalen Brunson because Okoro was not playing in that game. But assuming Okoro was out there, the next thing I think about is like, Mobley and Allen and how they're going to be guarding Brunson. Because, Mobley, he can switch. Allen can switch if you want him to. Both of them, of course, can play drop. My instant guess is that they're going to like start up high on Brunson screens and then sort of back up and give Okoro time to get back to Brunson. And so that'll be with Mitchell Robinson screening for Brunson. And, if Randle and Brunson get their two-man game on like that opens up some possibilities, although Randle sometimes does have a preference to just pop, which, I mean, even that could throw something different at Cleveland. But yeah, I do think a lot of this series is going to be determined by Brunson versus those two bigs, again, starting up high on his screens and then backing up a little bit. And then it just becomes him trying to get to those like 12-foot fadeaways that he loves so much, and can he finish over the length of those guys? But another thing I wonder too is, will Brunson try to just go at Mitchell and Garland as much as possible? I mean, we must remember it was only one postseason ago that Brunson was kind of cooking Donovan Mitchell in ISOs. Mitchell's been better this season, no doubt. Of course, within that, Cleveland could not cooperate and not give you the switch on that sort of thing, whether it then becomes like a trap or a hedge or whatever, we'll see. And speaking of Garland and Mitchell on defense, I'm guessing that Garland will be on Quentin Grimes and then like Josh Hart, and Mitchell will start games on RJ, which I guess can lead to the RJ conversation. I will get to Emmanuel quickly. I know he's going to play a big part in the series. But yeah, as for RJ, sometimes it's great and sometimes it isn't. Between the three-point shot, just simple catch and shoots and all that, but also the catch and drives. He had a stretch recently that I was very positive on in a video that I don't remember now, but I was saying, his catch and drives are looking so great, and he's looking so just crafty attacking defenders who are closing out, but then other times it's like he kind of forces the issue or the footwork's a little awkward. Like, we're going to see, man, because if the Cavs start to get a feeling that they can help off of RJ a little more aggressively, then that's going to be tough for the Knicks. Now, of course, for Tibbs, he's not scared of messing with the minutes. Like, I mean, I imagine Emmanuel Quickly, who I'm now mentioning almost 5 minutes into this thing, is going to, of course, he's going to have a lot of minutes. He's a decent chance to be the sixth man of the year. I mean, his tough shot making is huge. And, of course, a lot of what I have to say about Brunson and how he'll be attacking the bigs when they're dealing with him on screens, like, similar things go for Emmanuel Quickly between Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart and Quickly and RJ. And those guys being able to attack off the catch is just so huge, right? Like, all those dudes can make the next play. And again, we will see just how aggressively Cleveland is going to be loading up the paint. And also, will Cleveland look to just straight up double team Brunson and Randall at times and like really dare those other Knicks to keep the offense moving? Could Mitchell Robinson be a scorer for the Knicks? There are some games where Robinson gets like 4 shot attempts. But I don't know, maybe he'll get like 6 lobs a game just from the Cavs loading up on Brunson at the free throw line, All that good stuff. On the other side of things, for the Knicks guarding the Cavs, so I assume that Quentin Grimes is going to be on Donovan Mitchell, and then when Josh Hart's in the game, he'll be on Mitchell. And then it gets kind of interesting with Garland. So in the last game they played, they had Jalen Brunson on Garland, but then way back in January, they started that game with RJ on Garland. And then the other guy would be guarding either Okoro or Lamar Stevens, and we'll see what that looks like. I'm talking about the potential of RJ and his catch and shoots and his catch and drives and all that. Well, it's also going to matter defensively. Like, if Tibbs feels like I need Josh Hart as well as Quentin Grimes out there for the Cleveland guards, he's going to do it. Or if it's going to be Quickly, Because, of course, Quickly's defense has been amazing this season with fighting around screens and his communication and closing out like a madman. Anyway, as far as Mobley and Allen, I'm guessing the Knicks are going to play it normal just to start, where you have Randall on Mobley and Mitchell Robinson on Jared Allen. Although in their January game that I looked at, like in the fourth quarter, there were some possessions where that was the other way around. Or, well, with Hartenstein in the game. Anyway, I think the big thing for the Knicks is that their initial defense on the screens, whether it's from Grimes and RJ and Brunson and Quickly and Hart and the whole thing, have to be really good around those screens for Mitchell and Garland, because I'm picturing that the Knicks ideally do not want Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, or Hartenstein, if they're in the game, to have to go all the way up on Garland and Mitchell, because then it asks, more rotations on the back line and everything. I would imagine that they would like it to be Grimes, do what you can to stay on Mitchell's hip to where he's then coming around a screen, and then Robinson is like 1 foot behind the level of the screen to where Mitchell's kind of like sandwiched there ideally, to where he then can't make like the next easy play, you know what I'm saying? And for what it's worth, I give the Knicks defenders a good chance of doing this. I think they've done well on that sort of thing this season. For all I know, like, you might see Julius Randle hedging on screens a little bit more just to like be there for a second for the original defender to get back. We'll see how the Knicks want to play it. I have seen at least one take on the internet suggesting that they should have Randle help off of Okoro, which suggests that you put a wing on Evan Mobley, I would imagine. My bet would be that that does not happen, but I don't know. I can't tell the future. Now, if it goes well for them and their guards do a good job of sticking to Mitchell and Garland pretty well, then I think you could have situations where it's like Jared Allen or Evan Mobley rolling versus a backing up like Randall or Mitchell Robinson, and we'll see what happens in that sort of situation. But look, Mitchell, he's like 4th in the league in pull-up threes per game. Garland doesn't take as many as Mitchell does. Even so, if he's got the window, I think he will shoot it. Of course, within all this, you're going to get like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley double screens for Garland and Mitchell. We will see if Garland and Mitchell can directly play off of each other with screening or whatever. You're going to get just random off-ball sets for those two. And also, as I've done the Evan Mobley on offense spiel in a couple of videos now, this is going to be the shortened version of it. The guy's made a lot of progress with attacking off the dribble. Like if a defender's sagging off of him, he's doing enough stuff in the post with hook shots and all that to where I feel like if the Knicks like crowd Mitchell or Garland and then it's Evan Mobley at the free throw line and somebody comes over to help, I think Mobley is good enough to consistently make you pay for doing that. Now, sure, they're going to leave Isaac Okoro open, and depending on how that's going, because Okoro's had moments of being good from 3 this year. The volume's never super high, but he's done okay. Again, if Okoro is healthy, then okay, there's that. They can go to Karis LeVert, they can try Lamar Stevens, they can try Dean Wade. We'll see. I mean, Karis is going to play a lot, and I do think that Karis LeVert has done better throughout the season of scaling back on like the 12-foot jumpers that you don't really love, and taking more threes and just being more selective about when it's time to cook and all that. We will see how the Knicks look to help off of Mobley. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be something in this thing where, if Mobley's at the three-point line, they're definitely going to play off of him, but, the Cavs, they typically like to have like Mobley I've said this before, but like if Jared Allen is setting a screen on the wing for a guard, then Mobley will be in the opposite dunker spot, that sort of thing. So where there's like enough space, but you also can't really help off of him that aggressively either. It should be a good time, man. I think it's going to be really competitive. My pick is going to go to the Cavs in 6 or 7. That's not me making some like grand statement. It's just more so somebody's got to win. There's my pick. And that's mostly because when Mobley and Allen are on the court together, the Cavs defense, it's just obscene, man. Like their defensive rating with those two on the court for the season is 103, which is like 7 points better than first place, which is also them.